Hello everyone, this is Sharon from Paper Crafts from the Heart. Today I am here to bring you the card challenge for this My Scrappy Life virtual crop, and we are going to be doing a ink lifting technique using stencils to make a card. We're going to be using some Distress Oxide inks, a stencil, a paper towel. I have a piece of white cardstock that I've trimmed to a standard card base size of 5.5 by 4 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and use this for my card sentiment, and then I have a standard size 5.5 by 4 1/4 card. So we're going to go ahead and start with the Distress Oxide inks, and I'm just using the Chip Sapphire, Mermaid Lagoon, and Tumbled Glass, and I'm just going to take them and spread them onto my paper, coating it really good to give it kind of just like the ombre look. I'm going to come back over the last one, and I saw this technique, something similar, done by a Close to My Heart maker using the Close to My Heart inks. So then when I was looking on Pinterest for this month's challenge, I saw somebody doing it using some Distress Oxide inks. So I thought we would go ahead and try it. I don't use my stencils as much as I should, so I figured this was a fun way to use them. You're also going to need a spray bottle of water, or you can also use baby wipes. I have not tried the baby wipe technique, but it says that you can use it also. So I'm going to go ahead and lay my stencil over the paper that I just inked, and using my spray bottle of water, I'm going to spray a generous amount right on top of the paper onto the stencil and everything. And then I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm just going to rub it and absorb up some of the water a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and lift it up, and you can see how see the look of the stencil. Of course, the darker colors show up better, but the longer it sits too, you can see it a little bit more. And then for my card, I'm going to go ahead and clean up my mess real quick. There. Now your paper is going to be damp for a little bit, so you can use your heat tool that you use for embossing, if you have one, to dry it off, or you can kind of just let it air dry. And the longer it sits, the water kind of soaks in and it gets a little brighter too. You'll be able to see it better. So I'm going to go ahead and just put our Happily Ever After on here. And there you have a really quick and simple background for a card. Now, I decided to try this technique on using other inks. So this one here is using the Close to My Heart inks with a stencil, using the same method. And you can see you got that look with it. On this one, I used some of the Vicky Bouton watercolor pens, and it also worked. And then on this one, it was with a Catherine Pooler brand of ink. And then this one was using shades of pink, Distress Oxide. So I also had a few other ones that I had made to create a layout. So what I'm doing with my layout is just making a bunch of circles of their own background for those. So I'm going to finish cutting these up, and then we'll be back to embellish this layout. But I'm just going to keep going with the different size circles. And then I have a bunch of the Vicky Bouton embellishments left over from the color study collection. So these colors seem to be a bright summer color for the amusement park pictures. So we'll be back as soon as I finish cutting out these circles to finish this layout. So I finished cutting out all the pieces using just a bunch of different size circle thin cuts. And I thought it looked the best using black cardstock as my base. It kind of makes it pop. And I'm going to go ahead and just randomly glue these down. And then I think I'm going to mat my pictures and some black cardstock, and then we will go ahead and embellish this layout. Okay, so I've gone ahead and added embellishment cluster here to this corner, and then another one over here by my title, and I decided to bring in some pops of gold since those were a heavy color in the embellishments. So now I'm just going to go through and add just some black doodling lines all around the circles here. I think it just makes them pop a little bit more. The other thing you could do too is you could do some paint splatters with some black, or even some water splatters if you're using just the Distress Oxide, because it will activate the ink and you'll get some bigger water spots on it, besides where you lifted the ink on the stencils if you wanted a little bit more interest. Here, a few more doodle lines around the side here. Oh, I think I missed a piece. I'll have to go back and glue that after. My pen is not working well. I think it's time for a new black journaling pen. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and just use some white as well around the top here. Just to frame it in. And I also pulled out some white paint, and I think I'm going to do some white paint splatters as well on it. So you could do this technique with any shape on a card, on any size layout, anything like that. It's a good way to go through like your scraps of white cardstock too, if you want to get those used up, and just ink them up and throw a stencil on there and then cut them out in a bunch of different straight shapes or like strips of paper there. So there is that, and then I just need to find a piece of scrap paper here to cover my picture. And I'm going to go ahead and add some white paint splatters. On here. And there we go. We have an ink lifted, completed layout. And then here was the card after it's all dried out there. And you could even add some glitter and stuff if you wanted your card to be a little bit more showy. Some stickles or the stickle gels with like the stars and stuff in it. But just like the ombre look with the black sentiment, and then you can see the light stencil in the back there. I'm going to go ahead and post a link to the original Pinterest card sketch or card and blog post that shows you all the techniques that she used to create something similar. And if you have any questions, just let me know, and hope you enjoy your crop weekend. Thank you, Miranda, for hosting.